Once there was a homeless man who was trying to gather food. Every night he noticed that his food was getting less and less, even though he was not eating as much. So one day he waited and caught a mouse trying to steal his food. Disappointed, he asked the mouse, "Why are you stealing from me? I'm just a homeless man. Why don't you go steal food from all the rich and wealthy? They won't even notice that the food is missing." The mouse then told the homeless man that it's in his destiny to only ever have a little amount. No matter how much you beg, no matter how much you gather, you will always have little. The homeless man was shocked and asked, "Why is that my destiny?" The mouse replied, "I don't know, you should go and ask the Buddha." So the homeless man goes on a journey to see the Buddha. One night, as a storm arrives, he ends up at a wealthy family's house, and he asks if he could stay the night. They let him stay and they ask him, "Young man, why are you traveling at night when there's a storm?" And he answers, "I have an urgent question for the Buddha. Tomorrow I'll be on my way." The family then asks for a favor in return. "Can you ask the Buddha a question for us? We have a daughter who can't speak. Can you ask the Buddha what we could do to make her speak?" The homeless man agreed, and the next morning he was on his way again. As he continued his journey, he came across a sea of mountains that he had to cross. He climbed up one mountain and he saw a wizard with a staff. The wizard then asked the man, "Where are you going? You'll never make it across these mountains." The young man answered, "I'm going to ask the Buddha a question about my destiny." The wizard then offered to fly the man across the mountains with his staff if he would just ask the Buddha a question for him. "I've been trying to get into heaven for 1,000 years, but I don't feel that I'll be accepted in. Can you please ask the Buddha what I have to do to get into heaven?" "Of course I'll ask the question for you," said the homeless man, and was flown across the mountains by the wizard. As he continued about his journey, the man came across a very wide river. The river was too wide for him to cross, but luckily he met a giant turtle that was resting on the riverbed. "I am going to see the Buddha, kind turtle. Can you put me on your back and swim me across the river?" he asked. "I will gladly swim you across the river," replied the turtle. "But in return, can you ask the Buddha a question for me? I have been trying to become a dragon for 500 years. According to my teachings, I should have been a dragon by now. Can you please ask the Buddha what I have to do to become a dragon?" The homeless man happily agreed, and the giant turtle put him on his back and swam him across the river. After a few days, the homeless man finally reached the Buddha. There was a lot of people waiting to see the Buddha, so the Buddha said, "I will only answer 3 questions for each person and no more, because I have to make time for everyone." The homeless man was disturbed because he had 4 questions to ask. He thought a bit about what he was going to do when suddenly he felt that his problem felt so small in front of the wizard, the turtle, and the young girl that couldn't speak. He was just a beggar and could go back to begging anytime. He felt sorry for the others and so decided to put them first and ask all of their questions. The Buddha told the beggar, "The wizard uses his staff excessively, and so it acts as a crutch and an anchor, and that is why he hasn't made it to heaven. The turtle is never willing to leave his shell, and as long as he never leaves the comfort of his shell, he will never learn how to be a dragon. And as for the girl, she will be able to speak the day that she meets her soulmate." The beggar thanked the Buddha and started his journey back home. On his way back, he rejoined the turtle and told him, "All you have to do is take off your shell and you will become a dragon." So the turtle took off his shell, and in the shell he found the rarest and most precious pearls found in the deepest parts of the ocean. He gave the homeless man the pearls and said, "This is for you. I don't need these anymore because I am a dragon now," and flew away. The young man continued back home and reunites with the wizard and then tells the wizard, "You just have to put down your staff and you'll be able to get into heaven." So the wizard handed the young man his staff and said, "Thank you," then suddenly ascended to heaven. The man now had both power from the staff and wealth from the turtle. With that, he went back to the family that gave him shelter and told them that the Buddha said that their daughter would be able to speak the day that she meets her soulmate. That is when the daughter came downstairs and said, "Hey, isn't that the man who was here last week?" The young girl had found her soulmate. There are a lot of lessons to learn from this story. One of the main lessons for me was that to get the most out of life, we must be willing to serve others. Putting others first and learning to contribute can actually benefit us the most. Also, in order to become a better, stronger version of you, you have to get out of your comfort zone. We only grow and learn when we dare to come out of our shells. Nothing has ever been accomplished by not taking risks. There is also the point of putting down the crutch or anchor to reach new heights. Sometimes the things we hold on to most or depend on the most are actually the things that hold us back. We must learn to let go of what people think of us and not fear being alone during the hard times. The homeless man in the story started off as a beggar, but by setting out on an adventure and putting others before him, he was able to gain respect and security from other people, and in the end found a soulmate that saw him for his true potential. In the end, we are the makers of our own destinies, so never let anybody tell you that you can't be great. This is the Prosperity Code, and I hope that this video helps you or someone you love.